You know the sesame seed, right? Of course you do. It's on our burger buns, it's sprinkled in our salads, it's ground up into tahini. But the journey of that tiny little seed from the soil all the way to our plate, well, that's a story most of us have never heard. Today, we're going to uncover the surprisingly dramatic life of a single sesame plant.
Seriously, think about it for a second. We see these seeds all the time, but the plant they come from, the flower, it's kind of a mystery. And that's exactly where our story kicks off. Not with the seed we all know, but with the delicate and pretty much unseen flower that creates it. So, our guide on this journey is a gardener named Ang, who kept this amazing, detailed notebook. We get to peek inside and get a first-hand look at the life cycle of the sesame plant. That's sesamum-indicum, if you want to get scientific, right from the very beginning.
And you know what? Things started off great. Ang actually noted that out of all the different edible seeds they planted, sesame was the clear winner. It sprouted like a champ and showed some real promise right out of the gate. Sounds like a gardener's dream, right? Well, almost. Because as those little seedlings started to grow, a problem started to show up. That really promising start? It ran smack into an unexpected obstacle, one that actually threatened the stability of the entire plant.
And here's the observation, straight from the source. Ang writes that because of the specific conditions, basically not enough direct sun, the plant became leggy. It just couldn't seem to grow upwards in a sturdy way. So what on earth does leggy actually mean?
Okay, so here's the deal. When a plant gets leggy, it's basically desperate. It's stretching with all its might to find more light. It pours all of its energy into getting taller, fast. And what does it sacrifice? The thickness and strength of its stem. So you end up with a plant that's tall, sure, but it's also super fragile and unstable. A classic botanical trade-off, really.
But, and this is the beautiful part of the story, despite this struggle for light, despite being all wobbly and unstable, the plant kept going. It persevered. And it reached the most crucial stage of its life. It produced a delicate, pale flower, the entire point of its journey.
And I love this little personal note from Ang's journal. They realized there was a pattern emerging in the garden. Just like some of the other flowers planted recently, the sesame bloom had this really distinct tubular, bell-like shape. You know, it's those little observations that just bring the whole process to life.
Let's get a closer look at this thing. It's not a flashy flower, it's subtle. It's this pale, white, or maybe pink color, but it has this gorgeous little hint of purple deep inside its throat. And maybe its most unique feature is the texture. The whole thing, petals, buds, everything, is covered in these fine, soft, downy hairs. It's definitely a bloom that makes you want to lean in and really look.
Okay, so this brings us to the final act. The appearance of that flower, that's the signal for the beginning of the end. This is where the plant's life mission gets fulfilled, and we finally connect this beautiful bloom all the way back to the food on our table.
And the process itself is just so simple and elegant. First, the flowers fade away, their job is done. Then, right where they were, these little seed capsules or pods start to develop. And tucked away inside those pods, that's where our tiny, familiar sesame seeds are maturing, just waiting to be harvested. So when you think about it, from that really hopeful start, to that desperate, legged struggle for light, to the quiet beauty of its very short-lived flower, the entire dramatic life of this one plant brings us right back to where we started, with a tiny, unassuming, but incredibly resilient seed. Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Every sprinkle of spice, every grain in your pantry, it has a story of struggle and survival behind it. So maybe the next time you see a sesame seed, you'll remember the pale, bell-shaped flower it came from. What other stories are just hiding in plain sight, right there in your kitchen?